So today's little extra help video is for you if your knees tend to be a little bit knock-kneed. You have knock knees, feel bow-legged, you tend to sort of, it's not going to stay there for me like the rest of my shoulder. They're a bit like that. And it could be that when your knees are like that, your feet might be pronated, they might roll in a little bit. So when you're walking, you tend to have a flatter foot. So you can usually see that by the heel, what's happening in the back of the heel. You might have more pressure on the inside of your heel. So you might wear the shoe away more on that side. It's probably a good idea if when you're out with one of your members of your family to walk ahead of them and get them to do a video of you walking ahead of them, and you can have a look and see what your feet are doing and what your knees doing. Do they knock like that? Do they roll inwards? I see this quite a lot. So when that happens, you might find that your inner thighs, your adductors, feel a bit tight. They feel like they're pulling in slightly. So when you're trying to do exercises where the leg rotates outwards, you might find that quite hard because it's just tight here. So it could be, without actually assessing you, just give you an idea of what it could be. It could be that the inner thighs are working because the outer thighs aren't working as well. So any injuries or surgeries, any scars along here, going all the way up to the top of the leg, going into the side of the leg, can weaken or inhibit this part of the body, which means on the other side might just be overworking to compensate. So what do you do about it? Okay, we're going to stretch those inner thighs and work the outer thighs. So I'm going to use a band. You don't have to use a band, you can do it without. So what I'm going to do is put the band underneath my foot, underneath the foot. I'm going to hold it in one hand, so I don't want to be doing work here, stretching this, and sacrificing my shoulders. So relax your shoulders, let your rib cage soften, let the chest feel wide, and tuck your chin in. So if your chin doesn't tuck in, grab yourself a towel and put it underneath your head, so you're not looking back, so your neck's not overworking. Okay, so this leg can be bent or straight, and you're going to start to just do a little stretch to push through your heel. So start to lengthen through your heel as if your heel's trying to touch the ceiling, and allow the leg to fall outwards until you feel a stretch. Oh, there, lovely. That's where my stretch is. But if I feel that I'm pressing through the heel more, I feel that, there you go, I can get that stretch. My right side is a little bit tighter than my left side. Pressing through, pressing through, pressing through, and breathing. Don't hold your breath. That's lovely. Just holding that stretch as I lengthen through. You can put your hand on the opposite hip if you want. So if you roll over too much on this hip, you'll find that you'll come out of the stretch. So you want to try and anchor your pelvis here as the weight of the leg drops over. You can come out of the stretch and come back into it again. Oh, that is lovely. That's lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay. So then you want to follow that pretty much straight away. Lying on your side, I'm going to do the same leg. So I'm going to bring that leg forward a little bit and lift and lower. I'm going to do 5 repetitions. Lift and lower. And lift. You don't have to do 5. If your leg starts to shake after doing 1 or 2 reps, then stop. It's not a brave thing to push your way through doing any more repetitions, because if it starts to shake, it means that it doesn't have the strength yet on the outside of your thigh, the muscles here, to keep the leg in that position, because what I've just said about the skeleton there, these are not working as well as these. These are doing the job of these. So if your inner thighs are super tight, stretch these out first and follow that with leg lifts. So the reason why I've come forward a little bit is I'm working on here, the tensor fascia from here, outside of your knee, going all the way up to the outside of your hip. It abducts the legs. I'm working on one of the abductors to compensate, to strengthen, so the compensatory muscles, the area, the inner thighs, can not be so tight. So then I'll come back and repeat that. So if you haven't got a band, what do you do? Pull the leg in gently, and then I will just open out the leg. You can put your hand on, this hand's going to come out here and just hold onto the floor. If you're in your bedroom, hold onto the one of the legs of your bed. If you're in the front room and you've got legs on your sofa, hold onto something like that. And that hand here can just gently press down. You can hold onto the weight of the leg, but you don't want to try and support it, you want it to drop down. So I'm not getting as much of a stretch there, but it could be that I've just helped it. And then come straight over. So if you take your leg straight down, bring it forward a little bit, and then lift and lower from there. Okay, another stretch for the inner thigh. You come up into your kneeling position. You can take the leg out. This leg is on the outside of your hip, and you push your bum back so your hands will come to the floor. If you find tricky with hands coming to the floor, put a couple of books down or something that's going to lift you up a little bit. So I've got a little table here. I put my hands down. I can put my elbows on that, and if I let my tailbone go back behind me and sink back, so my tailbone is going back towards my heel, it opens up that stretch there. Lovely. I can stay on my knee. I can bring this leg forward. That's harder than lying down on the floor. Or you could do that stretch, and then you can come and lie back down and just do that leg lift. So don't rush the leg lift, going straight up and down like that. It's too fast. You'll miss the work. So take it slow, so your brain has time to organise the movement. So you have about 15 to 20 seconds from when you stretch that inner thigh to when you can start to work, do the leg lifts. If you get distracted, or you think, or you're chatting to somebody, or if you go off and have a cup of tea after your stretch, don't then come back and do the leg lifts, because your brain will just be doing, it won't kind of reorganise the movement. So you want to do the stretch first, and you've only got then 15 to 20 seconds to make sure that you've started your leg lifts. So go straight onto your side and do the leg lifts. Okay, don't get distracted. Do the whole thing as one movement. Happy practicing.